We have our third championship case today, and it's going to be Joey Logano. We've talked about Chase Elliott's championship chances, his case. We've talked about Ross Chastain. Today will be Joey Logano. The 2018 Cup Series champion is looking for title number 2. In 2022, it would be appropriate, of course, as he is the number 22. And he has had himself actually a pretty decent season. He has 2 wins on the year, the first one coming at Darlington, the second one coming at Gateway, and he also has a non-points winning race, and that was the first ever Busch Clash at the LA Coliseum. So he's won 2 inaugural races this year. He's really good at winning those first. He won the Bristol Dirt in 2021, the first ever of that. First ever LA Coliseum race and the first ever Cup race at Gateway. But yes, Logano 2 wins on the season. He has 6 top 5s, 11 top 10s. He currently sits 6th in the regular season point standings. He has 3 stage wins, so he's actually having a pretty decent season. He's led 428 laps as well. And yeah, I mean, let's get it out of the way. We talk about it every time, every year. No such thing as too many playoff points. So Logano, for his championship case, point number 1, get playoff points. Obviously, if that's getting a win, if that's getting a stage win, or if that in these next 2 races is improving his regular season position. Of course, if you finish higher in the regular season points, in the top 10 of the regular season points, you get more playoff points. Chase Elliott, he's going to get the most. He currently is going to get those 15. There's a close battle for second. Blaney could get it. Larson, Truex, Chastain, and then next is Logano. But Logano, he is almost 50 points out of that, so I think more realistically could be 5th or 4th or maybe even 3rd in the regular season standings. So if he could get that high, then maybe he could potentially get his playoff point total up through that. But other than that, I think he's going to have to look at wins and, of course, stage wins. So yeah, let's look at the playoff schedule, as we always do. We'll talk about his chances, talk about some of his best tracks. He's had a really good history at a lot of these tracks, which I think helps him out a lot. He has experience in this format. He has won in this format when he was an underdog, of course, 2018. So I think that's something that Logano has on his side. He's with the team he's been for almost a decade now. He has experience in the playoffs. He has experience in the championship setting, and he has experience with that pressure and winning under that pressure. So, you know, a veteran of the sport now, a championship winning driver, Joey Logano, I think that's something he has an advantage on over someone, you know, young like a Tyler Reddick or something like that. So, yeah, as I said, Logano, he's had a pretty decent year. You know, looking at this first playoff race, Darlington, he's the most recent winner there. Of course, he won that race at Darlington with a little bit of controversial move on William Byron, but he did indeed win that race, and he looked good that race, you know. That was his first win of the season. That's his first one at Darlington, I believe. So Darlington has not been his best track, but he was the first driver to win there with the next-gen car, so that is a decent place for him. Then the next race is at Kansas. Logano didn't do too great in the spring. Was around 15th, 16th, somewhere in there, maybe even 17th. So not the strongest showing. And Ford and Team Penske, honestly, have not really been great at the intermediate tracks. Their best showing was Texas, and that was the All-Star race. But outside of that, it has been a struggle at times. They've had good runs. You know, I think Logano got a top 5 at Michigan. He qualified well at Michigan. But there have been times where they just have not been on it. I think Vegas was another example. Obviously, as I said, Kansas. So, you know, Logano only has 18 playoff points right now. As I said, if he can gain some more in the next couple of weeks, to the end of the regular season or even at Darlington, you know, then that would be nice. But Kansas is a bit of a question mark because he does have good history there. He has 3 or 4 wins there. But this year, with how they've been doing on the intermediates, specifically Penske and Ford, it's a question mark. Logano can wheel it, don't get me wrong, but just Penske and Ford have struggled on the intermediates this year. But then this last race is what gives me confidence that he'll get out of the first round. Bristol. Bristol has been an amazing track for Joey Logano. He has a few wins there. He's led a lot of laps there. That's been one of his best tracks, I would say. So Joey Logano with Darlington and Bristol in there, I think he's going to get through the first round. He has a good bit of playoff points. He doesn't have a huge advantage like Chase Elliott does, but I think he has enough of an advantage, and I think he's got enough speed at Darlington and Bristol that he can gain enough stage points or whatever, or maybe even win. I think Bristol's a great shot at winning, that he can get out of that first round. And also Team Penske and Ford, while they have struggled on the intermediate tracks, I think they've done great on the short tracks. Logano's looked really good at Martinsville. He's looked, obviously, he won the Busch Clash at the LA Coliseum. So some of those shorter tracks he's looked really good at. And then he just dominated, the first or second, middle, third of the Richmond race a couple of weeks ago. So Joey Logano's looked really good at some of these short tracks versus the intermediates. Then we go to the round of 12, and I just said that, Logano and Team Penske, they really struggled at the intermediates this year, but Texas was the exception. Logano finished fourth there. His teammate Ryan Blaney won, and his other teammate Austin Cindric finished third. So that has been Team Penske's best showing is the All-Star race, even though the format was kind of, different than a regular Cup Series race, and, there's different strategies there. But Texas, it's hard to pass if they can get track position. They can get out front. Logano has shown he knows how to block and defend at Kansas 2020. He gets out front there. He gets up front there. Who knows? But Texas it's a mystery for Logano. Obviously, the good run with the All-Star race. He only has one win there back in 2014. Texas has really been kind of it's been a mix. Early in the repave section, 2017 to 2020, it was really Kevin Harvick's track. He kind of dominated there. But we've kind of seen a little bit of a different mix-up over the last couple of years. Obviously, last year, Larson won both of those races. We saw Kyle Busch lead in the All-Star race earlier this year before his tire blew out. And then we saw Ryan Blaney really dominate after that. So it's been a little bit of a mix ever since 2020. But yeah, it's a little bit of a mystery in a sense. But then the next two races, Talladega and the Roval, and this is where it's a little bit tricky. If Logano doesn't run great at Texas, it could get tricky here for Joey Logano. Talladega, obviously, Logano is one of the best super speedway racers, but it seems like he just hasn't had luck there the past couple of years. Just to blatantly say it. I don't think he's won there at Talladega since like 2018. I feel like he's had a lot of DNFs, a lot of, last car on the lead lap finishes. I just feel like he's been in a lot of wrecks. Some of his doing, a good, probably more, have not been of his doing. It's just a matter of the fact that Talladega, that's how it works sometimes. Sometimes you're just doing your thing and you get wrecked. And it seems like Logano just can't buy any luck there as of recently. So that's a concern for me. And then the Roval, Logano is... I think he's a little bit of an underrated road course racer. He has a runner-up finish at the Roval in 2020. But, there's a lot of good road racers out there right now. You got Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, even William Byron, some of those guys. And Chevy has really just had a stranglehold on the road courses over the past few years. So if Logano had a poor first two rounds and it came down to a must-win at Charlotte, that could get tricky, especially, with the guys I just listed. Even if they're not in a must-win, keeping Joey Logano out of the playoffs would be a huge deal because of how good Logano is, a former Cup champion, and also looking at this next round for him. But, I think if he can get a top 10 at Texas, get a good amount of stage points, and just survive Talladega, all you have to do is survive and hope your competitors get taken out. Plain and simple. That's how it works sometimes. That's all you need. That's what Chase Elliott did in 2020. He put together a decent first race in that round of 12. And then Talladega, he was like one of two playoff cars to finish, and he had like a 50-point gap going into the Roval, and he won the Roval. So Logano, do good at Texas, just a top 10, get some stage points. Talladega, if you survive, and then Roval, you should be able to advance. So that, I think, is the mindset there for that second round. But then the round of 8, here's the thing. Logano struggled. Team Penske, they have struggled on the intermediates. I've already said that a few times, and there's 2 intermediates in there. Vegas, he ran, what did I say, 15th in the spring? Something like that. And Homestead, we haven't run there in the next-gen car, but he does have a win there in 2018. He has shown speed there. But Homestead, it's a tricky one because, Larson's going to be good there. Reddick's going to be good there. The Toyotas are going to be good there. So that's, at least 7, 8 cars that are better than you for sure. And then that's not even factoring in other guys who have been good this year, like Chase Elliott, like Kevin Harvick, other guys like that. So that's going to make Homestead very tricky, just looking at those races. But on the bright side for Joey Logano, if it comes down to a must-win, I think this is the track he would want as a cutoff race. Martinsville. Joey Logano has done it before. He has won at Martinsville in, almost a must-win situation. I think it was like the first race of the round, but he was behind the cutoff line, and the big three had that big advantage, and so he decided to win and punch his ticket into the championship 4. He's run great at Martinsville before. He finished second there in the spring. Joey Logano has been amazing at Martinsville as of the last 6 or 7 years. He has been really, really, really good at Martinsville. He's led a ton of laps. As I said, he's won a race. This is one of his best tracks. And if it came down to a cutoff race, I think he would want Martinsville to be that track because of how good he has done the past few years. Now, Martinsville, it was a little bit of a tricky race in the spring as a total for NASCAR. Just not a lot of passing. Just a really kind of dull race for Martinsville. So if Logano can stay out front and get out front, I think he has a really good shot at winning Martinsville. Even if he performs like he did in the spring at Las Vegas, which is 15th, which is not going to cut it for the round of 8. In Homestead, he struggles like they have been on the mile and a half this year. And, you get a Reddick who potentially wins or, a Harvick who potentially wins and puts you farther down the list. I think a Martinsville is a very good situation for Joey Logano just because of his history there. How good him and Ford and Penske have been on the shorter tracks this year. I think they could have that to their advantage. Then as for the championship race, Joey Logano has won at Phoenix 3 times. 2020, 2016, maybe another time. I can't remember. But Joey Logano, he has shown speed at Phoenix before. He got a top 10 in the spring, the first race of the next-gen car. And on the bright side, a Ford won in the spring with Chase Briscoe. We've talked about how Ford has struggled on the intermediate tracks, the faster tracks, but they have actually done pretty solid. They've been up there with Chevy and Toyota, even better than at times Chevy and Toyota, at some of these shorter tracks. We saw Logano dominate Richmond, which is a track kind of similar to Phoenix. We've seen Logano do really good at Martinsville. We have seen him do good, at the LA Coliseum. But we've seen Ford as an overall organization do really good at short tracks like Richmond, like Phoenix, So I think that's something that could potentially give him hope, give him a chance. I think it's going to be really difficult to beat guys like Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, guys up there at the top of the leaderboard, even Ross Chastain, some of those guys. But Logano at Phoenix, he's been really good. He's made some championship 4s before at Phoenix. So I think he's got a shot. Plus, math works out. Joey Logano, since this system has been invented, the elimination, he has made it every even-numbered year. 2014, 2016, 2018, 2020. He's bound to make it in 2022. That's my most compelling case right there. You can't deny that fact. But yeah, I think I had him in my preseason championship 4. I can't remember. I probably did just because of that. But yeah, so to wrap this up, get as many playoff points as you can, like everyone else. First round, you shouldn't be too concerned about. That Kansas race, the intermediate, could get a little bit tricky, but, Darlington and Bristol are strong for you. Middle round, just survive or do decent at Texas, get some stage points, top 10, even maybe top 15. Survive Talladega and, do good enough at the Roval. Don't crash at the Roval. Round of 8, it might come down to a must-win at Martinsville, but you remember Joey Logano, you are really good at Martinsville, so you can get that win. And then as for Phoenix, this format, who knows, but Ford has been stronger at the shorter tracks. Thanks for watching this video. Tomorrow is the race at Watkins Glen. I'm looking forward to it. Can Joey Logano add to his playoff points? But there's supposed to be rain and thunderstorms in Watkins Glen. I don't know if that's going to postpone the race, but if it does, I'll do another championship case tomorrow. If not, we'll do the race recap tomorrow. Monday, we'll do another championship case, and then any news that comes up. So, yeah, I haven't looked at the leaderboard. I don't know who's going to be next. I guess it depends on whoever wins tomorrow's race or however tomorrow's race goes. I always do it based off the current playoff grid. And, as of today, Saturday, August 20th, it's Elliott, Chastain, Logano. So that's where we're at right now. Thanks for watching this video. It's been a really good few weeks for the channel. Thank you guys all for the support. We are so close to 2K. So subscribe to the channel and all that stuff. And I'll see you in the next video.